the one thing to remember, we are giving up the surprise onside kick. That is the thing that is going away. And I think this is the first rule change that actually removes a strategic element from the game forever. The surprise onside kick doesn't happen very often, and that's kind of how they're shrugging at it. Like it only happens twice a year. But the potential of it is always there. Even if it doesn't happen very often, the possibility of the lightning strike surprise onside kick is always present, and now that's gone from the game. And I don't really like that, Chris, but that's the trade-off to having a new kick return format that's going to have more excitement that way.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things we lose. But I think it's a small price to pay for the keeping a play in and the excitement that it might bring to us this year. So be it. Yeah, it stinks, right? But I mean, unlike the kick returns and punt returns, where I feel like I can name a bunch from NFL history that are exciting, right? With the surprise onside kick, I can only think of one really right off the bat, right? I know I could think of more as I sit here and do this. I didn't give it much thought, but I mean, the Saints-Colts Super Bowl, that's the monumental one. That's the one you think about. I don't know if the Saints win that Super Bowl without doing that play right there. I'm not sure they actually can pull that game off without stealing a possession from Peyton Manning and the Colts like that. But, yeah, we're going to lose that. So be it. I mean, if that's the price we got to pay, we'll take it.
You know what's weird about that? The Colts later took the lead back in that game.
Right.
But that was the moment that you felt like maybe the Saints can pull this off.
Yep.
When they got that recovery to start the second half in Miami, Super Bowl 44.
Yeah, it felt like the Colts were the better team and the Saints were barely hanging on for a lot of the early part of the football game. It felt like Peyton was on a roll, and you just went, man, the Saints, they I don't know if they can keep up with this, right? And to your point, you're right. They needed that play, and then of course Tracy Porter, the pick six, and all the great moments that followed that.
There was another surprise onside kick in the Super Bowl, and I had it.
It's the Cowboys Steelers,
as if it
Super Bowl
didn't work,
30,
but it did work.
Right.
The Steelers didn't win the game,
right?
And remember, and I'm watching the video now while I talk to you. I'm trying to watch it in my lower peripheral vision.
Okay, I can explain
it to you. The Steelers player, if I recall correctly, there's a chance I don't, he recovered it clean and had like a straight shot to the end zone, but you couldn't advance it.
Right.
It was dead. For the kicking team, it's dead where you catch it.
Yes, total surprise. Super Bowl 30, Arizona. You're right. It was one of those where if they let the play go, he's going to run for a significant amount of yards. Totally caught Dallas off guard. But all right, so there's two. But all right, we gotta do something. Sacrifice anything. That's it. So see you later.
I'm looking at it right now. 21 for the Steelers had it. He gained about 20 more yards before they pushed him out of bounds, but the ball went back to the spot of the recovery, and the Steelers ultimately, if you're, a little more than a casual football fan, you realize that the Cowboys won that game thanks to Neil O'Donnell thinking Larry Brown played for the Steelers, or Neil O'Donnell thinking he played for the Cowboys.
I don't know if both of those were Neil's fault, right? That's one thing I've kind of learned through the years of knowing people and involved there, right? I think the first one was Neil's fault. From what I've heard through coaches and people through that, the second one was the wide receiver's fault. He did not adjust and do the right thing, right? But nobody really gives a damn, and Neil O'Donnell looks, silly because of it.
You know what your first NFL coach would say? It's always your fault.
See throws.
It's always your fault.
See throws, man.
I remember that thing he did with Jimmy Clausen when he was first getting started at ESPN, doing the quarterback school, and Jimmy Clausen tried to throw Golden Tate under the bus for an interception, and Gruden said, it's always your fault. It's never anyone's fault but yours when there's an interception. You have to own it. You have to take it. You can't blame anybody else for it because basically it's going to piss your teammates off if you try to.
That's right.
Which is a good point.
Yes.
Publicly, you need to take it. Internally, let the coach rip the receiver for being in the wrong spot. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.